Why, hello there everyone. I'm Laxow, aka the Kumo Sensei. Minasan, ohayou gozaimasu. Yonjong Shadow. And today I'm going to be pairing my Cyriopagopus vonwirthi, also known as the Vietnamese Earth Tiger Tarantula, and it does go by a few common names, but that's the one I mostly go by. But without further ado, this one is relatively short, and I'm not going to waste anyone's time, so if you want to see the pairing, skip to this time frame to save you the time. Okay, so now let's get straight into this. So surprisingly, even though this pairing may seem short in this video, the actual pairing time was about 40 minutes, and the majority of this time, the male was just sitting around, sitting still, and he really didn't move much once I got him into the enclosure. But after about 40 minutes, he finally made his move, and the pairing only took about a minute or so. So that's why this video is a bit short. A lot of the time was just spent on waiting for this male to do something, but luckily he did, and the pairing was successful, and this male does come out alive, so don't worry everyone. So let us actually talk about this species. So when it comes to this species, they're possibly the most common Cyriopagopus species here in the hobby, and the reason why is because there's a lot of imports that come in, and because of that, a lot of people do breed them as well, so they are readily available both here in the United States and basically all around the world. Because how readily available they are, not just wild caught, but also captive bred specimens as well. So I'm not too worried about this species and their numbers because they're quite abundant. I actually did have 3 females in the past, but sadly 1 female passed away of old age, 1 female I sold away, so I only have this female left. Now, the question is, will I get more? The answer is probably not, because they're so commonly available when it comes to this species. But I do love them though, I'm not gonna lie. They're really fun to keep. They're basically pet holes, but I love my pet holes though, so I don't really mind keeping a few every now and then. And as I stated, I'm a big fan of the Asian species, so yeah, I guess that goes back to my Asian heritage, I guess. Now let us actually talk about this male here. So this male was given to me on a loan. When it comes to loans, I'm very picky about who I do loans with because of scams, people getting too greedy and things like that. But the person who had this male was very nice, very cooperative, and very understanding, so I decided to help out and basically take this male in. So typically when it comes to breeding and pairing tarantulas, I'm very good at what I do, and the males usually do come out alive, but I would rather let my work speak for itself. So if you're new to the channel, please go check out my breeding videos and just watch the males come out alive. And to anyone who's new to the channel, welcome to the Laxow channel. I'm a tarantula breeder and also a tarantula business, with my business being Laxow Legacy LLC. I'll leave a link to my YouTube community notes or YouTube community section where you can check out the availability list there. And yeah, welcome to the channel. Now coming back into this pairing, you're going to see that this male is standing still. He's basically patiently waiting, and he will stay like this for a little bit, so if it seems like this video is on pause, it's not. It's just that this male is just being cautious and basically just taking his time. But now it's time for the pairing. So this is where the male starts signaling the female through her burrow, basically telling the female that he's a mate, not a meal. And she does get the signal, but she originally was on the other side of the tunnel, or her burrow that is. And basically once she noticed that he was on the other end, she basically turns back around and comes out the proper side of the burrow. And this male will be doing this for a little bit, so bear with me everyone while we wait for the male to basically draw out the female. And I do like males like these, males that actually signals females, basically telling them that they're mates, not meals, because some males can be a bit reckless and you do know how those males turn out, basically a meal for the female. But males like these are the males I like the most, very cautious, very patient, and also males that know what they're doing. It was very nice to see him take his time. And I also do believe that this is a first-time male, so for a first-time male, he's doing a very good job because a lot of first-time males I've seen before are much worse than this one, so really good to see that. But now let us get on with the pairing. So the male will take his time, but eventually the female slowly creeps her way out of her burrow onto the surface to greet this male, and he was ready, and also she was ready as well, so it was a very mutual pairing. So there really wasn't any aggressive behavior from the male or the female when it comes to this pairing. And you're going to see he's going to get ready to lock up with this female by pushing his front legs, basically hooking onto her fangs so she doesn't really snack on them. And he basically gets the job done here. And basically right here is when the male gets his insertion in. And you can see the female is a bit finicky and the male pushes her back even further. to get a better insemination, but once he gets a good insertion, he basically backs out, and you'll basically see some post-mating behavior that indicates a good insertion. If you look at this female, she's basically scratching her back legs and her abdomen, which is a good sign of a good insertion for the species, and the male is also grooming his pedipalps, basically his emboli, where he's storing his sperm. So basically this also means that he's inseminated the female pretty well, and now he's grooming his pedipalps because they're empty essentially. So basically he's charging it up in a way, and it's really nice because this means this pairing was 100% successful in terms of insertion. So basically that's really about it. So I guess I'll call this a video for today. So as the typical, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to stick around. I try to upload every week, so please stick around and follow along on the journey, and also support me on my social medias such as my IG and Patreon. Shout out to my Patreon members for keeping my tarantulas fed and supporting this channel. And with that everyone, stay lax and Laxow out from the Kumo Sensei.